Hey guys, it's Dr. Mason here, holding currently the shark open with Dr. Mick behind the camera. Today we are going to go over the circulatory system in lab. First, we're going to start with the shark. I'm currently on figure 8.2 in the lab manual. Just keep in mind, when you are doing the circulatory system for the shark, the best way that Dr. Mick and I would recommend is to cut open your shark until you find the heart, because then you could orient yourselves with every artery and every vein, one way or another, that's coming off of the heart. Keep in mind, dye that's usually going to be red in the circulatory system are arteries. So this is where blood is leaving the heart that's oxygenated to the rest of the body. And then if we have any, so those are arteries, red are arteries, and then if there's any blue, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but you could see a little bit of blue right here. Everything blue, if your specimen is well dyed, is going to be a vein, and veins is where blood is going back to the heart to get reoxygenated. Okay, so circulatory system with the shark, starting with the heart. As you guys know by now, the lab manual, when they number things, it's not in the best order. But the shark does have 4 chambers. This main chamber right here of the heart is going to be number 5 on figure 8.2. I'm looking at the lab manual. And this is going to be your ventricle. Okay, so this big thing right here is your ventricle. On this side of the ventricle, this structure right here, and also this structure right here, they're attached, even though they look separate because it's attached behind this ventricle. But these 2 darker structures here is going to be the atrium. And then if we look right over here, this is going to be number 3. The atrium, by the way, is number 4. Number 3 is going to be the conus arteriosus. And the 4th part of the heart, it's going to be behind the heart. Right here, this is your sinus venosus. So 4 chambers of the heart, sinus venosus, number 15. Here is our ventricle. This whole thing right here, which looks like the entire heart, kind of, is number 5, your ventricle. This structure right here, this structure right here is number 4, your atrium. And this structure right here is number 3, the conus arteriosus. Okay, so we know where the heart is. We know the 4 structures of the heart. Now we can orient ourselves. So if we go up past the conus arteriosus, we can actually see these 3 structures right here, 1, 2, and 3. Hopefully Dr. Mick is getting good video of that. So 1, 2, and 3, and these are your afferent branchial arteries. 1, 2, 3, and there'll be some on this side too, but we only cleaned off the one side for you guys in this video. And if we keep on going up, we'll actually see kind of a fork in the road, per se. Right here is going to be your ventral aorta. Basically either going this way, which will be a whole nother artery, or this way, which will be another artery. But the fork in the road is number 1, your ventral aorta. And again, just to recap, the afferent branchial arteries is number 2, which is 1, 2, and 3. So 3 afferent branchial arteries on just one side, but that's number 2 in your lab manual. Okay, so you guys might have been asking, hey, Dr. Mason, what are these red arteries all over the ventricle and the heart? Those red arteries are the coronary arteries. So all of them are coronary arteries. And if you actually follow them up, so we could follow it, then we see all these other red arteries here. So all these red arteries coming off of this coronary artery is the commissural, I said that wrong, the commissural arteries. So that's just a general term, commissural arteries that are coming off of the coronary artery. Okay, so I think my probe drifted a little bit. So coronary arteries are going to be over the ventricle. If we follow them again, all these other ones are the commissural arteries, which would be number 17 in your lab manual. Last but not least, I was showing you earlier, we are going to look at the lateral abdominal vein, which is this blue again. So you guys should know what veins are. You should know what they're colored. But this right here is the lateral abdominal vein. This is going to be number 9 in your lab manual. And in theory, if we actually follow this lateral abdominal vein all the way up the specimen, we're not going to do that in this video, we will see literally the entire vein system that's actually surrounding the heart as well. Vein system, also called the venous system. But that's it for what we want you guys to know for figure 8.2 with the shark. If there's any other structures, we will put it on your lab assignment, or we will mention it in lab. But please, in this video, I'm showing you how to orient yourself all around the heart. But Dr. Mick and I, we even specifically read the lab manual to get a location from the description from the lab manual, which is why we read it, and this is why we encourage you guys to read it as well. Okay, so we'll see you in the next video.
Hi guys, this is Dr. Mick. So we're going to be talking about some more of the shark's arteries here. Now, a lot of these arteries are tied to the digestive system. And that may feel a little confusing for you right now because you're not going to be as familiar with the specifics of the GI system. But as of right now, the reason why we do it in this order is because when we're really handling the digestive tract, we often disrupt and ruin the arteries that way. So while they're still in full preservation mode is why we want you to look at them now. But I think this will make more sense to you next week when we cover the digestive system. And I think at that point, it would be really beneficial for you to go over again what the circulatory system is now that you'll kind of have both pieces of the puzzle and you can put them together. So for right now, what we're going to be talking about is the main structures that come off of the dorsal aorta. Now, Dr. Mason showed you where the ventral aorta was, but the dorsal aorta, as you can imagine, lies along the back because it's the dorsal aorta and the dorsum is the back of the animal. We're not able to actually visualize that without disrupting the shark and all of its organs. So we're just going to be focusing on 4 branches that come off of the dorsal aorta. And the first one that we're going to talk about is the celiac artery. So the celiac artery, and for reference, I'm looking at figure 8.5. This is on page 152. Our lab manual did not have a version of this in the back of the book, so I will not be providing you with any numbers, but we just want you to highlight and know the terms that we're going to be talking about. So for figure 8.5, we're going to be talking about the first branch being the celiac artery. So the celiac artery, it's covered by a little bit of saran wrap looking connective tissue. But here is the celiac artery. And this then trifurcates. So after it comes off the dorsal aorta as the celiac artery, it breaks into 3 additional arteries. The first of those is the hepatic artery, which is going to be supplying the liver. So the hepatic artery. And for reference, here is the liver lobes that I'm flipping back in this image. So we can see that the hepatic artery is then going to break into a whole network of branches. But here's our celiac artery and our hepatic artery. Then it breaks off into 2 more arteries as well. So the celiac artery is also going to break off into the pancreatico-mesenteric artery. And let me stabilize this, and we can see it breaks off to the pancreatico-mesenteric artery, which is going towards the pancreas, specifically the ventral lobe of the pancreas and the intestine. So pancreatico-mesenteric artery coming off of our celiac artery. And last but not least, the celiac artery breaks into the gastric artery, which is going to go to the stomach. So I'm just finding the best angle to show that to you. But we have our gastric artery. Going to the stomach. All right, so next we're going to be talking about another branch off of the dorsal aorta. So the celiac was the first branch. Then we're going to be talking about the anterior mesenteric artery, which you are going to see running along the intestine. In this case, the dye is a little funky, and we're seeing more of a vein. In this animal, the veins are, most of the veins are yellow, but it's feeding along the intestine, the anterior mesenteric artery. The third branch we're going to talk about is the gastrosplenic artery, which is coming off the dorsal aorta. And then it's going to go to the spleen and feed the stomach. So we have our gastrosplenic artery. Our final branch off of the dorsal aorta is going to be our posterior mesenteric artery. I'm outlining it with my probe. And it goes to a gland that the sharks have that's called the rectal gland. So our rectal gland is here, and you'll be able to see it better on your shark. It's connected to the body wall with connective tissue, but here is our posterior mesenteric artery.